Good morning, YouTube. This is Britt's Journey BSG. Hope everyone is doing well. I know it's been a little bit since I've updated, so I did want to come at you with an update today. I've had several of my doctor's appointments. It's been a whirlwind trying to do those in between my work schedule. I actually had my upper GI last week and then went straight to work from that. My stomach was still a little queasy from just one, I hadn't ate anything, and two, they made me drink crystals to expand your stomach, which is what they do. And so all I had in my stomach was barium, and so I didn't feel real great, but I went anyway because it was a required event for work. Um, so it's been a whirlwind. Um, since my last update, I have some really exciting, kind of nerve-wracking news. I resigned my position at my job. I was a human resources assistant and on-call supervisor. It honestly, it was a relief for one, just because it is so much stress. And I think that I have the problem of being a little too nice and willing to do things, and I don't say no when they ask me to do stuff outside of my job. And so it was just getting to be too exhausting. I was making almost as much in the position of caregiver as I was in my on-call position for a quarter of the stress. And I was really making a difference with the seniors. So I'm going to go back to caregiving at least for a little while, probably through my surgery, and I'm going to look into some other options. There's a lot of places that hire really quickly as far as if you have experience working in HR, or I might even go the psych route and find something in my psych field, if there's anything that comes available between now and then. I was really nervous going into it. I felt guilty in a sense, just because, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to give up my position, but I had came with several different issues in the past, and they just weren't getting fixed. So I finally had to stand my ground and say that I couldn't do it. I told my boss, I said, I love what Home Instead stands for, but my anxiety with this job is just too overwhelming. So I'm taking it in stride. I'm taking it as a good thing, and I will hopefully be able to find something that comes really positive out of this. Other than that, I have also went to several of my other appointments. I went to the cardiologist appointment. Tomorrow is my psychological evaluation, and that's at 9 in the morning. So hopefully I'm mentally capable of understanding what it means to have the surgery. I feel like I am. I don't know what questions they'll ask. I'm not really sure at this point, but I will just do my best and hope for a great outcome. I have been trying to work really hard on getting my system cleaned out, as far as just dealing with eating right. My biggest thing is no longer Dr. Pepper. I really haven't had as much of a desire to drink Dr. Pepper recently, but coffee. I have to have my coffee in the morning, and a lot of things I've noticed is that they don't want you to have creamer, but here I am drinking coffee, Thin Mint creamer. It's great, and that's going to be something that's going to be hard for me to give up to. I'm trying to think what else I've done. Oh, I had on Friday of last week, I had the EGD, where they go into your gastrointestinal tract and they do the scope, and they do a stomach biopsy, checks for H. pylori, checks for any other issues with your stomach. I haven't gotten my full results, but I will say that the doctor talked to my friend Tori, who was with me, and said that everything looked really good. It wasn't a painful procedure at all. I coughed a lot. I was getting over bronchitis still, which when I get that typically twice a year, it will kind of go away, and then it tends to come back for another, just like encore. And so when they pulled the scope out, it triggered my bronchitis, and I could not stop coughing. Coughed for probably an hour afterwards, and I woke up in recovery coughing. And so my throat was pretty scratchy that day, and I was just really groggy. It happened really quick. They said I was only in for about 20 minutes. And the hardest part was that my veins are so bad that it took them 3 times to get an IV, which I was not surprised at all about. I went to have labs done a few weeks ago, and it took them 6 times to get my vein so that I could do the vials of blood. And they were shocked that I was able to take it so well, but I just told them that I was truly used to it. It happens all the time with my veins. So that was the hardest part, was getting the IV in me. Afterwards, it was pretty smooth sailing. I was up and out of the hospital within probably 20 minutes of my recovery. And then Tori drove me home. I relaxed, and then I went on call that evening. I had to go do an intro for my job that night, and Sandy had to end up driving me because I wasn't allowed to drive still. I felt fine, but I didn't want to break the rules, and it is kind of illegal to drive under the influence. So bless her heart, she had to drive. It was a 45-minute drive to the introduction for a caregiver to a new client, and we got all the way there, and the intro ended up being canceled. The shift ended up being canceled, so I was a little frustrated, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Other than that, I am excited to continue with the ball rolling. I have another appointment for an echocardiogram on Friday. I have a history of heart disease. When I was little, I was diagnosed with supraventricular tachycardia. I know that's a mouthful, but most people say SVTAC. It just means that a valve in my heart does not close completely, so it can cause leaking of fluid, which makes you have kind of an irregular heartbeat at times. But they did say when I was younger that I would probably grow out of it, and I really don't have a big problem with it anymore. I can tell when my heart starts racing a little bit, and I can usually regulate that. But that's why they're doing the echo, just to make sure that that pre-existing condition is not going to affect me having the surgery. I don't think it will. I've been fortunate enough that even my physical health, despite my joint pain from being overweight, I have not really had problems with my heart. I've not had problems with neurologically. I don't really have a lot of physical issues other than just my knee pain and my back hurting from mostly, again, my weight. Other than that, I will leave you with this little bit of update. I know it was a lot to pack into one day, but I will update you guys later when I have my psych eval, when I have my echo, probably sometime next week. I'm almost done with all of my major appointments. So the scope, the labs, the psych eval will be done tomorrow. My echo will be done Friday. The only thing I have left besides my dietary visits, my once monthly diet visits, is that I have to get the notice from my doctor that says that that I do need the surgery. So basically, it's a letter of agreement from my doctor's office, but they would not do that until I was cleared by the cardiologist. So once I get my echo done and I can have all of the results sent over from the cardiologist so that they will clear me through my doctor's office. And other than that, I'm almost good to go. I'm ready to continue to get the ball rolling. My next appointment for the diet visits, I think, is May the 15th. I'm pretty sure. So that'll be coming up sooner than we know it. And hopefully I've had a little bit of progress so that they'll see that I really am trying. And I'll be ready to go. You guys have a good rest of your day. Bye, YouTube.